What if right now, without him saying a single word, his body, his timing, and his micro decisions were already confessing everything you need to know? Would you be able to read it? Today I'm going to hand you a precise, research-informed way to decode 5 secret signs that he likes you, even if he's trying to play it cool. Stay with me, because you'll learn how to verify each sign without games or manipulation, how to respond in a way that raises his attraction ethically, and how to avoid the false positives that trick most people. You're about to gain an edge that most never develop: calibrated perception. Once you have it, you won't be guessing, you'll be observing. Before we dive into what to see, anchor this mindset. Attraction signals are only useful when you compare them to a baseline. In social psychology and behavioral analysis, the baseline is the person's normal behavior across contexts. Attraction is detected in the deviation. If a man is naturally high energy and flirty with everyone, that's his baseline. The sign is whether he changes speed, tone, orientation, or investment specifically around you. This is how FBI body language experts like Joe Navarro frame observation. Don't hunt for single cues, look for clusters, 2 or 3 signals that appear together and repeat over time. That cluster rule protects you from projection and wishful thinking. You'll apply that rule to each of the 5 signs, and I'll give you a simple verification micro-test for every one of them. Here's a second principle to keep in your back pocket. Choose patterns over moments. A moment can be faked. A pattern is expensive. Anyone can send a charming message once. It costs time and attention to do it consistently. That's why consistent, low-drama pursuit is one of the most reliable indicators of genuine interest, something that attachment researchers and long-term relationship experts like John Gottman have observed in the way couples turn toward each other's bids for connection. When a man likes you, he starts turning toward your world. Little by little, then obviously. You'll hear me repeat a simple filter throughout this video: direction, investment, alignment, and leadership. Direction means his attention aims at you. Investment means he spends something scarce, time, energy, thought, on you. Alignment means his choices start fitting with your preferences and pace. Leadership means he initiates plans that reduce your uncertainty. If you check for DIAL and at least 3 dials are turned up, you're not imagining it. Let's open the first door. The first secret sign is practical proximity. He engineers reasons to be near you that look logistical, not romantic. This is a masculine camouflage for interest because it preserves pride and reduces rejection risk. In influence research, Robert Cialdini talks about foot in the door and commitment dynamics. Men intuitively do a version of this when they like someone. They create small, low-risk touchpoints where your life and his life overlap. He might just happen to take the route that passes your coffee place. He might offer help with something simple you mentioned once. He might comment quickly on a story or update you posted with a specific question that requires your response. Notice the shape of these moves. They're not grand gestures. They are micro-hooks, a practical pretext with emotional upside. The evolutionary psychology angle is simple. Men often test interest with low-exposure behaviors first. If you respond positively, he escalates. Nonverbal cues that travel with practical proximity include fronting. He orients his torso and feet toward you, a narrower distance than he holds with others of similar status, and a subtle slowdown in his walking pace to match yours. Mirroring is the key word here. Mirroring is one of the most robust social synchrony signals. Researchers like Tanya Chartrand have shown that unconscious mimicry increases rapport. When he likes you, he unconsciously matches your rhythm, your micro-gestures, even your laugh latency. Here's your verification micro-test for practical proximity. Create a small detour in your path. If he's physically with you, change your trajectory. Pause to pick something up or shift to a different spot in the room, and watch if he recalibrates towards you without thinking. If you're texting, let a small gap appear in the conversation, and then introduce a practical anchor. I'm choosing between X and Y, quick opinion. If he's using proximity as a pretext, he'll step back into your orbit fast, with specificity. Your strategic response is simple. Meet practical with practical. Acknowledge the helpfulness, then add a small, concrete ask tied to a time. If you're serious about that recommendation, 20 minutes on Thursday works for me. That gives him a friction point. If he likes you, he will happily cross it, because investment deepens attraction through the consistency principle. The second secret sign is protective scanning. He becomes subtly vigilant about your comfort and safety when you're together. This is not about dramatics. It's about micro-guarding behaviors rooted in both evolutionary drivers and secure masculine leadership. Think of how he positions himself relative to crowds or doorways, how he moderates his speed to keep you in step, how he pays attention to temperature, seating, lighting, and noise once you've indicated preferences. Watch for the tiny corrections. He moves a glass out of your elbow range. He stands where he can keep an eye on the environment. He notices when someone interrupts you and smoothly reopens the conversational space for you to finish. Nonverbal tells here include pre-touch gestures like offering his hand across an uneven step without making a big deal, or a palm-up invitation, an open, non-threatening cue consistent with high-trust men. In Gottman's language, these are bids of care. In seduction frameworks, they are signs of calibrated dominance, the calm, protective presence that signals, "You're safe with me." A man faking interest rarely expends attention on these mundane details because there's no quick ego payoff. A man who likes you invests in your comfort because it matters to him. Your verification micro-test for protective scanning is the comfort cue test. Briefly mention a preference, then drop it. "I get cold easily when the AC is strong," or "I don't love loud places." Don't repeat it. The next time you interact, see if he preemptively chooses a spot that fits that preference or brings an easy solution. "I grabbed the quieter corner. I asked for a table away from the speaker." If he does, that's alignment plus memory. Huge tells. Your best response is high-leverage appreciation, not flattery. Appreciation. Name the behavior and how it affected you. "You noticed the noise and shifted us. That made it easier to think. Thank you." In both behavioral psychology and seduction, what you reward, you get more of. When you reward care, you cultivate care. The third secret sign is future pacing leaks in his language. Pay attention to linguistic style matching and micro-planning. James Pennebaker's work has shown that couples who match function words, pronouns, prepositions, articles, tend to have stronger connections. When a man likes you, you'll hear a subtle shift from I to we, from abstract chatter to actionable next steps. He future-casts small scenarios that include you without pressure. When you try that place, you'll see the dessert is ridiculous. Next time, take the left street. The view is better. If you're free for exactly 15 minutes on Tuesday, I'll show you that trick I mentioned. Notice the specificity. Specificity is cost. Vague texts are cheap. Concrete logistics signal intention. You'll also detect temporal indexing. He remembers spatial and temporal details you mentioned weeks ago, and he uses them to lace his plans. In persuasion literature, this is a version of consistency through pre-commitment and implementation intentions. The difference is, he's not using it as a tactic. The tactic emerges because he cares. Your verification microtest for future pacing is the offer-to-outcome test. Casually float a low-investment microplan that requires a crisp time boundary. "I have exactly 20 minutes after work near location," and see if he turns the offer into a concrete outcome. A man who likes you and is not playing games will step into leadership. "Perfect 5:40 outside the bookstore. I'll be there." Then see if he proactively removes uncertainties. Where, when, duration, what to expect. That's leadership for your nervous system, reducing your cognitive load. Your strategic response is controlled enthusiasm. Mirror his specificity without taking over the plan. Say yes cleanly, offer one preference, and leave room for him to execute. This amplifies his masculine momentum without obligating you to anything beyond your boundary. The fourth secret sign is micro-competitiveness around rivals paired with re-engagement initiatives. This one is delicate, and I want you to approach it ethically. Pre-selection, the idea that people seem more attractive when others show interest in them, has been noted in both evolutionary literature and practical seduction methods. Men, especially those who like you, often reveal interest through tiny shifts when a potential rival is near. A posture lift, more active participation in the conversation, a soft territorial cue like standing closer or reintroducing you to someone by name to reclaim rapport. There may be a rapid-fire volley of humor or a new story fragment designed to pull your attention back. The key is not to weaponize jealousy. We're not using this to manipulate, we're using it to read. When he likes you, he cares about your attention more when someone else competes for it. What you're watching for is not drama. It's a controlled pro-social re-engagement. He invites you into a moment rather than pulls you away from others. Your verification micro-test for micro-competitiveness is the attention shift test. Briefly aim your attention elsewhere, ask a third person a question, and observe. If he likes you, he won't sulk or escalate. He'll gracefully seed a new thread that integrates you back, like offering an insight only you two share, or asking you a follow-up that shows memory. Then he relaxes when you're re-engaged. Your best response is simple: reward the re-engagement with eye contact and a short touchpoint line that validates him without excluding others. Good point. Tell me more about that in a second. This keeps the social vibe smooth while acknowledging his bid. The fifth secret sign is consistency under pressure. Anyone can be charming when it's easy. Interest is proven when life gets mildly inconvenient. Watch what happens when there's scheduling friction, when you state a boundary, when you slow the pace, when he doesn't get instant validation. A man who likes you and respects himself won't crumble. He'll remain steady, responsive, and congruent. Attachment studies consistently show that secure individuals navigate uncertainty with proportionality. They don't flood you with anxious messages, and they don't vanish to punish you. They keep the thread warm, they follow through on what they propose, and they accept no's with composure while proposing alternatives. Consistency appears in 100 small ways. He confirms plans without you having to chase. He shows up at the stated time. He remembers promises he made in passing. He communicates delays before you ask. He doesn't try to accelerate physicality just to soothe his ego, and when he initiates, he does it in a way that lowers your cognitive load. I'll handle the booking. You only need to choose between A and B. This is the sign most men can't fake for long, because it requires character and bandwidth. Your verification micro-test for consistency is the boundary and bridge test. Set one clear boundary. This week is packed. I'm only free for a short call Saturday morning. And see if he responds with a bridge rather than pressure. Got it. I'll call at 10:10 and keep it to 15. Deal? Then track the execution. If he reliably honors both your time and your pace, you're seeing the kind of interest that sustains. Your response should be to reciprocate within your standards. Thank him for honoring the boundary. Then, when you feel it, offer a small escalation on your terms. That balanced reciprocity builds a healthy polarity where both people win. Now, beyond these 5 core signs, let's sharpen your detection with nonverbal and paraverbal tells that travel across the signs. First, voice. Men unconsciously lower their pitch around women they find attractive. It's a dominance and mating signal, but it's subtle and situational. You may notice a richer tone, slower speech, and clearer articulation when he talks directly to you compared to others. Second, eyes. The real tell is not just eye contact, it's the triangle gaze, eyes to mouth, and the micro-glance return. If he breaks eye contact, glances down to the mouth, then back to the eyes and smiles with crow's feet, Duchenne smile. That's authentic warmth. Pupil dilation can occur, but is environment sensitive. Don't overweight it unless lighting is constant. Third, hands. Watch for illustrators. Hand movements that increase when he speaks to you, especially palms visible, openness, and brief self-grooming, adjusting a watch or sleeve when you appear. Nicola Gigan's field studies, though not all perfectly replicated, align with a broader pattern. Small grooming acts often spike near attraction. Fourth, feet. Feet point where the mind wants to go. If his feet stay directed at you even when his torso turns away to address others, that's a gravitational tell. Fifth, pace. He slows down to match you, speeds up to open doors, or clears small obstacles for you. Think of it as micro-leadership in motion. Let's switch to digital behavior, because in modern dating, interest leaks through the screen. Men who like you often practice what I call tempo spike messaging. They answer in a reasonable window, but the speed increases when the topic has a future-pacing hook, or when you share something personal. Look for specificity in his texts, concrete times, names, places, rather than generic emojis. He remembers threads you started days ago and circles back without being prompted. By the way, how did that morning presentation go? He references small details, like the exact tea you prefer or a phrase you use. That's memory plus care. And watch how he resolves logistics. If he offers a plan with a clear time window, an exact meet point, and a simple decision framework, 10-12 or 6-8, he's not only interested, he's competently interested. Competence in pursuit is one of the strongest green lights you can get. Now it's time to protect you from the traps, false positives that mimic interest and lead to confusion. False positive number 1, high extroversion. Some men are socially generous with everyone. They touch shoulders, they tell stories, they laugh loudly. The fix is the deviation rule. Do you see a shift specifically for you? Does he remember your details unusually well compared to others? Does he adjust his plan to support your comfort? If not, it's friendliness, not attraction. False positive number 2, politeness and service scripts. Certain men have learned scripted niceness, opening doors, paying compliments, without personalized attention. Scripts lack memory and adaptability. If the behavior doesn't evolve based on your unique preferences, it's branding, not bonding. False positive number 3, anxious overcommunication. Rapid-fire texts and dramatic compliments can feel like interest, but they often indicate self-soothing, not calibrated care. Apply the consistency under pressure test. When you slow the pace, does he respect it or push harder? False positive number 4, strategic manipulation. Some men will mirror and future pace because they learned tactics online. Tactics rarely survive boundaries. Ask for a small, reasonable adjustment that serves your comfort. If he drops the act, the interest was never about you. It was about control. False positive number 5, chemical intensity. Instant chemistry is real, but it's not proof of character. Chemistry without consistency is attraction without direction. You deserve both. Because you're not here to passively observe, you're here to lead your experience. Here's how to respond to each sign in a way that deepens the right attraction and filters out the wrong one. When you catch practical proximity, don't call it out. Collaborate with it. Offer a low-risk action with a clear time cap, then watch follow-through. When you feel protective scanning, bring it into the light with concise appreciation. This teaches his nervous system that care is seen and valued, which increases the likelihood he'll keep doing it. When you hear future pacing, choose one thread and make it real. Vagueness kills momentum. When you sense micro-competitiveness, don't inflame it. Anchor it. Reward his re-engagement with attention and then continue the social flow. When you confirm consistency under pressure, you can safely open more of your world at your pace. He's shown he can handle responsibility, which is the backbone of masculine attraction. Let me equip you with a minimal effort, maximum clarity calibration tool you can use this week. The 3-day triangulation. Day 1, create a micro opportunity he can step into. A specific, time-bounded ask or invitation. Day 2, set a featherweight boundary that protects your energy. I can do 30 minutes, not more. Day 3, offer a small piece of personal context that matters to you, then go quiet. What you're watching for is his DIAL response across those days. Direction. Does he aim toward you without chasing? Investment. Does he spend time and thought? Alignment. Does he respect the boundary and adjust? Leadership. Does he move logistics forward? If you get 3 out of 4 consistently, you're not guessing. You're seeing a pattern. If you get 1 out of 4, you have your answer and you can release the ambiguity with dignity. Now let's zoom into micro-signals and how to read them ethically in live conversation. Men often express interest through questions that reveal his strategic lens. Surface-level questions collect facts. Attraction-driven questions collect meaning. If he likes you, his questions map your life. He'll ask how you decide things, what energizes you, what you avoid, who matters to you, how you rest. He's not mining you for trivia. He's building a model so he can lead well. Notice also how he listens. Interest changes listening. He tracks your answers, re-references them later, and checks for updates. That's how you know you're not a generic template. He's engaging you, specifically. If his questions remain shallow and disconnected across multiple interactions, that's either shyness without initiative or disinterest. You can help by offering him a bridge. Answer a surface question with a tiny layer of meaning, then pause. If he picks up the layer and explores, he's tracking you. If he drops it or diverts to himself, that's data. Paraverbal cues matter too. If he likes you, he often adopts your slang or your cadence lightly. You'll catch echoes of your phrasing in his later messages. That's the mirroring principle again. And while it can be faked, the timing gives it away. Organic mirroring appears spontaneously, hours or days later. Tactical mirroring is immediate and exaggerated. Also, watch how he manages silence. Men who like you but respect you don't panic in pauses. They let space breathe and then add value. The absence of anxiety in silence is an advanced tell of both confidence and care. Let's address touch, because it's one of the most misread arenas. Ethical attraction is calibrated, consensual, and paced. The earliest, safest indicators are proximity thresholds and the accidental brush that isn't accidental. If he stands within your intimate personal boundary, about 18-24 inches, and lingers there comfortably only with you, that's a tell. If his hand finds your lower back lightly as you navigate a crowded space and then withdraws, an escort gesture more than a possessive one, that's protective interest. If he offers his arm across a curb or a step and waits for your acceptance rather than forcing it, that's respect plus initiative. Your response should match your comfort. If you want to encourage, reward calibrated touch with clear, positive feedback, eye contact, a brief smile, or a verbal marker like, "That was thoughtful." If you don't, set the boundary gracefully once. Secure men adjust instantly, and attraction often grows with clarity. You also need an internal compass, so you don't overinvest too early. Here's a reliable self-check. Is his attention creating ease or turbulence? When a man likes you in a healthy way, your nervous system gradually relaxes even as the chemistry stays alive. You feel more seen, not more confused. You experience more clarity, not more mental loops. Confusion and constant second-guessing are often signs of mixed signals or mismatched readiness. Use that data. Seduction at its highest level isn't about tricking anyone. It's about creating a frame where attraction and respect can coexist. That frame requires you to protect your energy while rewarding initiative. It means you stay warm without obligating yourself. It means you move at the pace that keeps your standards intact. Let's refine the 5 signs with practical, word-for-word lines you can use to test and amplify attraction while staying fully in your values. For the proximity sign, use, "I'm at place for exactly 15 minutes at time. If you happen to be nearby, say hi." This preserves your time, invites his initiative, and gives you a clean read on whether he will cross distance for you. For the protective scanning sign, say, "I prefer quiet corner, high table, outside seat, you choose." Watch whether he optimizes for your comfort without making it a production. For the future pacing sign, say, "I'm curious. What would be the simplest version of that plan this week?" You're inviting leadership and specificity without pressure. For the micro-competitiveness sign, try. Hold that thought. I want to hear the end. This signals that his input has priority without isolating you both socially. For the consistency sign, set one expectation cleanly. If we plan it, I value punctuality. How do you like to handle timing? Secure men love clear parameters. Boys hate them. If you're still unsure after applying these tools, I'll give you one advanced diagnostic drawn from both Stoic self-governance and practical seduction. Remove yourself for a short, intentional window and observe whether he steps forward with calm initiative or disappears, not as a game, but as a reset. Use this only after you've provided clear openings and appreciation. If the pattern is still muddy, silence is data. Seneca framed it as tranquility. In modern terms, it's nervous system regulation. A man who likes you and is grounded will use the space to move decisively toward you or respectfully close the loop. Both responses are a win because clarity is a win. 2 final refinements for your perception toolkit. First, look for asymmetry. Behaviors he directs only to you. If he treats you the way he treats everyone, there's no evidence of selection. Attraction is selection. The asymmetry shows up in how long he stays in your conversations compared to others, the micro-smiles he reserves for you, the messages he follows up on with you that he doesn't with others, the level of detail he remembers about your world. Second, track escalation ladders. He should escalate in small, sustainable steps, sharing a personal story, proposing a micro-plan, checking on your comfort, showing up when it counts. Sudden, dramatic leaps, intense intimacy language, grand plans, without intermediate steps, are often fantasy or control. The best seduction is paced, grounded, and respectful. Now take a breath and notice how different you feel when you look for patterns instead of hoping for signs. You're not waiting to be chosen. You're evaluating, calibrating, and co-creating. That's the quiet magnetism of a high-value woman. You see clearly, you respond precisely, and you protect your peace while rewarding the right man's courage. If he likes you, these 5 signs: practical proximity, protective scanning, future pacing leaks, pro-social micro-competitiveness, and consistency under pressure, will surface again and again, in clusters, in patterns, and in the small, boring places where character lives. When you see them, lean in at your pace. When you don't, you already have your answer, and your energy remains intact for the connection that deserves it. All that's left is practice. Over the next 7 days, choose one environment: work, gym, coffee shop, social circle, and carry this checklist with you mentally. Watch for the baseline, then the deviation. Offer one small opening, set one simple boundary, and appreciate one act of care. You'll be stunned by how quickly ambiguity dissolves. Attraction becomes readable, and the moment you can read it, you can lead it.